do want to play Jemele Hill, speaking of so-called journalists who have it all wrong. Here's this jerk, SOP 15.
Of course, as you all know, in the wake of Charlie's murder, there was an incredible amount of angry discourse from the right, blaming the Democrats, blaming liberals, saying, you're the reason this happened. Only to find out, surprise, 22-year-old white dude, love guns, raised by two parents, lived in a good home, dad is a minister, also a sheriff. Didn't check it in them boxes y'all thought he would check, did he?
Okay, first of all, a coat of mascara would be your friend. I'm just going to tell this to you, woman to woman on television. You need a little work, and you should have them back off the camera a little bit because you are not attractive enough to have that extreme close-up. Push away your laptop, Jemele, and add a filter or two. Honestly, like, we actually don't use any on this show because I do put on makeup so I look presentable, but you need work because you can't both be ugly on the outside and the inside. You need to choose one, okay? Choose one. That is disgusting. That was absolutely disgusting. Mm-hmm. Fuck her. Mm-hmm. It's weird how she lost the points about him being a furry, loving, trans dating, I don't even know what this guy's fetishes were, but leftist ideology infected guy who wrote on his bullets anti-fascist catch and notices bulges OXO, etc.
Jesus. Oh my gosh. Yo. Oh. I don't know what to speak to. I don't know whether or not to speak to the fact that Jemele Hill did miss the plot when it came to the fact that he was in a relationship with and this is one of the reasons why you got to get all of the information before you start talking, because then you make yourself available. I don't know whether or not to address that or to address Megyn Kelly reading her the riot act when it comes to whether or not she... No, listen. I'm not going to get into the look situation at all whatsoever. That's obviously a personal thing between Megyn Kelly and Jemele Hill. Jemele Hill was off when it comes to her perspective of who the shooter was and them trying to skirt responsibility from what it is that they stood for and how they become an indoctrination camp on the left for changing people into being super feminine, weak, and then also having to kill somebody because they don't necessarily agree with their opinion. Yes, Megyn Kelly was right about that. The other stuff, I ain't getting into, bro. I know that Jemele Hill also had a response video to that, and I am going to get into that now. But that was absolutely scorched earth. That just tells me that women are way more into it than guys are. But yeah, let's Jesus. I don't even want to get back on camera. Oh man, so this is apparently Jemele Hill's. I'm looking at this for the first time, all right? So I just want to be absolutely clear. This is Jemele Hill's response to Megyn Kelly, all right?
I saw that Megyn Kelly, no friend of mine, I'm no friend of hers, I don't even like her, I don't know her. Actually, the last time I saw Megyn Kelly, here's what's so funny. Last time I saw Megyn Kelly, this would have been when Obama was still in the White House. I cannot remember if it was first term or second term. I want to say it was second term. I'm pretty sure it was second term. Now that I think about it, I'm pretty sure it was. But either way, I saw Megyn Kelly at the White House. And it really got me to thinking. I saw her from a distance. I didn't go up to her. I don't know this woman. So, of course, she was still at Fox, very aware of what her reputation was in terms of what she contributed as a journalist. But what I found so interesting is when I saw her at the White House.
Is she saying that Megyn Kelly sleeps around and that's one of the reasons why she got so much visibility and why she got her leg up?
It was during the time of year, it was the holiday season. And what happens is during the holiday season, White House has a bunch of parties. There's different groups every night. Like one night, it might be media members. One night, it might be entertainers. Another night, it could be a mixture of the two. It's different audiences. So it was a lot of media members. This was like, I guess, the media version of the Obama's holiday party, where they invite people from both sides of the aisle, come there, and sometimes the president is there and first lady, sometimes they're not. On this night, they were there. And I remember seeing Megyn Kelly in the receiving line to get a picture with the Obamas. And I thought that was super interesting because I was thinking, now don't you spend pretty much your whole damn broadcast talking about how this man ain't shit, and here you are lining up to go. And that's when I knew, like, oh, for a lot of people that are in our business, and especially who are in the position of being considered to be conservative commentators, a lot of that shit is fake. I was like, oh, this is like WWE to them. This is like wrestling.
So what she's trying to say is that people that are commentating online don't necessarily believe in what it is that they say. I don't understand the relevance of what she's saying. I thought she was going to address the fact that she was wrong, or what Megyn Kelly called her out for is wrong, when it comes to identifying who the shooter was and what was being basically placed out to the media of what type of relationship he was in, who he was, and what it is that he stood for, right? She's going into her, I guess she was more offended at what Megyn Kelly called her out for as far as how she looks versus actually addressing the issue at hand, which she has the right to be able to address both. I don't have any kind of problem with that whatsoever, but I want to see where this is going, all right? Because I don't see the relevance of her lining up to get a picture with the Obamas versus what she was saying specifically about the shooter of Charlie Kirk. But let's wait for it. Let's get to it.
They like playing a character. See, what you see here is for real. Like, this is who I am, whether I'm talking to you on YouTube or y'all catch me out in the street. I'm the same person. And a lot of them can't say that. And so I was really taken aback. And I was like, oh, I got it. That's the game. Peep it. Right? All that being said, so over the course of the years, Megyn Kelly has often had a lot of words for me, a lot of words about me. I generally kind of try to keep her name out of my mouth because I don't like to amplify the thoughts of stupid people. But all that being said, this time I'm going to make an exception. And I'm going to tell you why. But first, let me play the clip of what Megyn Kelly had to say about me.
Have it all wrong. Here's this jerk. Stop 15.
Of course, as you all know. By the way, Megyn, here you go. All up in there. Get a look at that this non-mascara face. That's what you call natural beauty. You wouldn't know shit about that, I know. So generally when I attack somebody for their words, their ideas, I typically, especially dealing with women on TV, I never say shit about their looks. And the reason I don't say anything about their looks is because this is something that women in television often have to deal with, is us being criticized by our looks rather than how well we do the job.
Now, to be fair, I understand exactly what Jemele Hill says as far as not necessarily getting into it about looks. The why doesn't make sense to me because the looks is the reason why we got a camera on, right? It just is what it is. People want to see you talk. They want to see who's talking, so on and so forth. Regardless of whether the looks you like them or not, cool, whatever. The other part that, on the flip side of that, is we are in a different era, and this is in the social media era in the world that we live in. And so women have a leg up when it comes to certain things. Often at times we have conversations about pretty privilege, and, you know, it just is what it is. It's just a part of the game. And so, you know, if we was on radio, this would be a completely different conversation. But because is my rule of thumb is this, right? I try to stay away from ad hominem attacks, all right? Unless that's just what we engage in and it's just all good and fun or whatever. But my rule of thumb is this. I don't go after people's families. I don't hit below the belt when it comes to, and unless you sharing that as a part of your monologue, then that's the conversation that we have to have. I don't want to go after kids. I don't go after people's families. I don't go after husbands and wives. That's just not a thing. I try to stay away from that as much as I possibly can. And then we just go from there. So that's my rule of thumb. But as far as content creator versus content creator, it is what it is. You can't necessarily control what anybody says, but I want to hear the rest of what you got to say.
How well we speak about issues, how well we control the broadcast.
Like, games. Ain't no
that's usually put to the side, and people judge us based off how we look. But I wouldn't expect somebody like you to get that, because that would actually require your dumb ass to critically think for once in your life, which we know you don't do. And that is why I chose to respond. And I'm sorry that you up there, however old you are, looking twice as old as you actually are. My bad. Because that's the thing about the way this melanin is working in this body. You don't know if I'm 28, 38, 48, 58, 68. And I'm proud to come on live and present myself as I am in my natural state, because I'm not ashamed of what I look like. I don't begrudge any woman that uses makeup. Not at all. I use makeup. I'm on TV. I do that. Right? That's a part of our job. That's what we do. And so your advice to me is to get some mascara. My advice to you is to actually get a personality and a persona that doesn't always make you look like a racist and a bigot and trash. I'm comfortable with where I am and what I've done. You, on the other hand, are known as the lady who thinks Santa Claus is only white and that blackface is cool. You know what I'm saying? Me and you ain't the same, girl. We ain't the same. And so what I would say is, you may not like my opinions. You may not like who I am. You don't know me. You don't even know me enough not to like me, because you don't know me. You ain't never had a conversation with me in your whole fucking life. You don't know shit about me other than what you see.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm trying to follow along. I don't really get the "you don't know me" part, because I don't think that somebody has to know somebody in order to be able to criticize their perspective, opinion, or what they say on social media. And again, I'm keeping it 100% about the whole Charlie Kirk shooter comment. In my opinion, in that specific thing, Jemele Hill was wrong. She never, as far as this particular monologue, she's not addressing that she was wrong about that particular thing. But that's my biggest thing. And so I don't get the "you don't know me" part. I don't get none of that part. I think that a lot of times people say that. I want to hear the rest of it first.
And if you want to judge it based off that, that's fine. It is the challenge that I have accepted. It is the duty and part of the job. People go by what they see. They don't know you outside of your commentary or whatever. So yeah, I get called names all the time. But what you're not going to do is call me ugly, because this face card ain't never been declined. What I would say that you might want to do, and shout out to my boy Don Lemon for bringing this to our attention, instead of worrying about what the fuck I look like, about what my mascara I use or don't use, perhaps you should be more worried about what's happening in your house.
Maybe people would like you, and the women would like you more if you weren't such a, what you said about my former colleague. And by the way, Megyn, let me just say something. Deal with your own house, and tell your husband to stop looking at my husband across the room. It's weird.
All right. So, I guess that was a comeback. So let me know what y'all think inside of the comments. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description. T. Gently, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm gonna holler at you guys later. Crazy.